We prioritize the boss who doesn't know our middle name over the mother who remembers the exact sound of our first cry. We sacrifice the now for a someday that isn't guaranteed to anyone. We are so busy preparing for the future that we are missing the ending of the present. There is a specific kind of silence that only exists in the wake of a realization you weren't ready to have. It's the silence that follows the math of a human life. We spend our days worrying about the future, chasing the next milestone, or lamenting a mistake we made 3 years ago, all while operating under a massive, collective delusion that the people we love are a permanent fixture of our geography. We treat them like the sun, something that might be obscured by clouds for a while, but something that will inevitably be there when we look up again. But the truth is much colder. Life is not a series of infinite loops. It is a countdown of diminishing opportunities. And for many of us, the most important chapters have already been written. Think about the last time you saw your parents, or the last time you sat in a car with your childhood best friend, driving nowhere, listening to music that defined your entire world at 17. If you are an adult, if you have moved out, if you have started a career or a family of your own, the math is already against you. There is a statistical reality called the law of diminishing opportunities. It suggests that by the time we graduate high school and leave the nest, we have already used up roughly 90% of the total time we will ever spend with our parents. Let me say that again. 90%. All those Tuesday nights at the dinner table, all those Saturday mornings, all the mundane, frustrating, beautiful moments of childhood. That was the bulk of the meal. Everything that comes after is just the scraps. We are living on the remaining 10%, stretched out over decades, thin and fragile as parchment. We live as though we have forever, but we are actually just passing through a series of last times that we never bothered to label. That's the most haunting part of being human, the lack of a warning bell. When you were a child, there was a final time that your father picked you up and set you on his shoulders. Neither of you knew it was the last time. He didn't say, "This is the final moment I am strong enough to carry you," and you didn't say, "This is the last time I will see the world from this height." You just grew. He put you down, you ran off to play, and that door closed forever without a single click of the latch. There was a last time you and your neighborhood friends played a game of tag, or built a fort, or sat on the curb under a street lamp until someone's mom called them in for dinner. At the time, you thought there would be a tomorrow. You thought the game was just on pause. But tomorrow came, and interests shifted, and someone moved away, and the game simply ceased to exist. We are currently living through those last times right now, in this very moment, with people we assume will be there next week. We take the phone calls for granted. We let the texts sit unread. We cancel plans because we're tired or busy, operating under the assumption that the bank account of time is bottomless. But every time you see someone, the probability that it is the last time increases. One day, you will hang up the phone, and that will be the last time you hear that specific vibration of their voice. One day, you will walk out of a front door, waving over your shoulder, and that will be the last image they have of you. The tragedy isn't just that life ends, it's that it fades. It's the way we slowly become strangers to the people who once knew the map of our souls. Think about your best friend from 10 years ago. There was a period where you knew everything about them, what they ate for breakfast, who they were crushing on, the exact shade of their sadness. You were inseparable. And then, life happened. Not a big fight, not a dramatic falling out, just the slow, agonizing erosion of life getting in the way. You saw each other every day, then once a week, then once a month, then once a year, at a wedding or a funeral. Now, you're lucky if you trade a happy birthday message on a digital wall. The person you would have died for is now just a ghost in your contact list. You didn't know the last time you grabbed a beer together was going to be the finale. If you had known, would you have stayed longer? Would you have said the things you left unsaid? Or would the weight of that knowledge have made the moment too heavy to breathe? We are all walking around with a terminal diagnosis called time. We watch our parents age in snapshots. Because we don't see them every day, the changes are more violent. You go home for the holidays and notice a new tremor in a hand, a deeper cloudiness in an eye, a slower gait. You realize that the person who once seemed like an immovable mountain is now a flickering candle. And you realize that your time with them is no longer measured in years, but in visits. If you see your parents twice a year and they have 10 years left, you have 20 visits. 20. That's not a lifetime. That's a long weekend. When you see it in numbers, the air leaves the room. You start to count the remaining hugs. You start to realize that the later you've been banking on is a currency that is rapidly devaluing. We spend so much energy trying to make it in the world, trying to build a legacy or a career, that we forget the people who make the world worth inhabiting. We prioritize the boss who doesn't know our middle name over the mother who remembers the exact sound of our first cry. We sacrifice the now for a someday that isn't guaranteed to anyone. We are so busy preparing for the future that we are missing the ending of the present. Every person you love is a sunset. You can't stop it from descending, but you can choose to watch it. Most of us, however, are looking at our phones while the colors are changing. The law of diminishing opportunities is a cruel teacher, but a necessary one. It forces us to look at the people around us with a desperate kind of clarity. It forces us to realize that the person sitting across from us at dinner is a miracle of timing. Out of all the billions of years of the universe's existence, and all the billions of people who have ever lived, you managed to exist at the same time, in the same place, as this person. And yet, we spend that time arguing about the dishes, or sitting in silence, or wishing we were somewhere else. There is a specific kind of grief that comes from realizing you've already had your best years with someone, that the peak of your intimacy is in the rearview mirror. It's a quiet, hollow ache. It's the realization that you will never again be that version of yourself with that version of them. You are both different people now, scarred by the world, burdened by responsibilities, moving in different orbits. The last time for that version of your relationship has already passed, and you didn't even get to say goodbye to it. I want you to think about the person you love most in this world. Now, imagine a clock hovering over their head, counting down the hours you have left in their physical presence. Not the hours they have left to live, but the hours you will actually spend together. The number is smaller than you think. It is terrifyingly small. Every minute you spend in anger, every day you spend in not talking, every month you spend too busy to visit, is a chunk of that number being lit on fire. You are burning the most precious resource in the universe, and you can't earn more of it. You can earn more money. You can find new jobs. You can buy new things. But you cannot buy back a single Tuesday afternoon with someone who is gone. The shock of the last time is that it is usually mundane. We expect the end to be cinematic. We expect a slow-motion embrace, a final speech, a sense of closure, but that's not how it works. The last time is usually a quick "see you later" as they walk to their car. It's a talk to you soon, before you hang up to go to a meeting. It's a casual wave from across a room. The universe is a master of the anticlimax. It sneaks the endings in when we aren't looking. It tucks the finality inside the routine. We are all just a collection of memories held together by skin and bone. And one day, the people who hold the other half of those memories will be gone, and those stories will die with them. When your parents go, a library burns down. Every remember when, every family joke, every piece of history that only you and they shared, it evaporates. You become the sole custodian of a ghost town, and you will realize, with a crushing weight, that you would give every cent you ever earned just to sit in that kitchen one more time, hearing the tea kettle whistle, listening to a story you've already heard 1,000 times before. You would give anything to have that 90% back. So, what do we do with this? If the math is so bleak, how do we live? We live with an aggressive sense of presence. We stop treating people like they are permanent. We start treating every goodbye like it might be the one that sticks. We stop leaving the important things unsaid because we assume there will be a better time to say them. There is no better time than a Tuesday in February. There is no better time than a random phone call on a Thursday. We have to learn to love the diminishing part of the opportunity, to realize that the scarcity of the time is what gives it its value. If we lived forever, love would be cheap. It's the fact that it ends, the fact that the last time is out there, lurking in the calendar, invisible and inevitable, that makes every hug a protest against the void. Go look at the photos on your phone. Look at the ones from 5 years ago. Look at the faces of the people who aren't in your life anymore. Not because they died, but because life just happened. You didn't know that photo was the beginning of the end. You didn't know that day at the beach was the last time the whole group would be together. You can see the happiness in your own eyes in those photos. A happiness rooted in the ignorance of the countdown. We are all traveling on a train, and the people we love are getting off at different stations. Some stay for the whole ride, but most don't. And the train doesn't stop. It doesn't let you get off to follow them. You just have to sit by the window and watch them grow smaller on the platform until they disappear into the horizon. And then you turn back to the empty seat and realize that soon it will be your station too. The law of diminishing opportunities isn't a threat. It's a clarity. It's a reminder to wake up, to stop sleepwalking through our relationships, to look our parents in the eye and really see them, not as the pillars of strength we needed them to be, but as the fragile, aging humans they are, to tell our friends we love them without the shield of irony or humor, to be intensely, uncomfortably present, because one day you will be sitting in a room and you will realize that the last time has already happened. You will look at a chair or a phone or a porch swing and you will realize the person who belonged there is never coming back. And in that moment, the only thing that will matter is whether you used the 90% well, or if you threw it away because you thought you were entitled to 100. Don't wait for a funeral to realize how much you love someone. Don't wait for a diagnosis to start making the trips. The clock is already ticking. The percentages are already shifting. The last time is coming for all of us, and it won't ask if we're ready. It will just arrive, quiet and unassuming, and then it will be gone, leaving behind nothing but the echoes of what we should have said when we had the chance. Hug them a little longer today. Stay on the phone for 5 more minutes. Drive the extra hour to see them, because the math of life is unforgiving, and the only way to beat the last time is to make the this time count for everything it's worth. We are all just ghosts in waiting, trying to find someone to hold on to before the lights go out. Don't let go until you absolutely have to. And when you finally do, make sure you didn't leave anything in the tank. Spend the time. Spend it all. Because you can't take the 10% with you. And you'll never regret the time you wasted loving the people who gave you their 90. In the end, we aren't remembered for our bank accounts or our titles. We are remembered by the people who were there for our last times. We are the sum of the moments we gave away. And if you're lucky, really lucky, the people you love will know exactly how you felt about them. Not because of a eulogy, but because of every mundane, ordinary, beautiful moment you chose to stay, even when the world told you to go. The last time is coming, Make sure that when it does, you have no more words left to say.